Hey guys, welcome. I'm so glad that you guys are on here live. And for those of you guys watching later, I am really glad that you are also watching later. That means that I say this every week, it means that you care about your business and you care about the success of your business. And part of that is joining in this community and taking some time to learn what is working for people, what's not working for other people or for people, and kind of figuring out where your niche is in your business, because everybody's different. And if I've learned anything while in this business, that people from all different walks of life and completely different personalities and gifts can do this business. So I was initially going to have Ellie share some information with you guys tonight, but she is at a concert. And so she's going to share with us next week. And so I'm just going to start doing some more of that, having other people share, because I know that you don't always want to just hear from me all the time. And like I said, everybody's different. And so there might be things that you can learn from someone else that will just come off more eloquently, or just be a lesson that they've learned that I maybe haven't been exposed to. So tonight, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of my story, kind of keeping in theme with that, because my story with Arbonne looks different than each one of yours, but it has pieces that might look like people who join your team. And so I just wanted to share a little bit to encourage you wherever you guys are at in your business. If you're just starting, or if you signed on as a consultant months ago and you haven't done anything, I just want to welcome that in this space and just let you guys hear my story. So I started my Arbonne business last June. So in June 2018, I signed up on the first of the month, and I had no idea at all if I was going to have anybody join my team, or if I was going to have anybody interested in the products. Honestly, I joined because we thought that I was still going to be doing an internship this past fall for my graduate school, and wanted to be able to have another stream of income to cover childcare. So while that didn't end up happening, and I delayed my internship, I'm still really grateful that I started this business. It came to me at this really interesting turning point in my life. I had always said that I would never want to be a stay-at-home mom. And I don't know. I had this in my head that I wanted to work. I loved my job, and I think that was a big factor for me. And then when I had my daughter and I was home with her, I got toward the end of what would have been my maternity leave, and I couldn't fathom her not with me during the day. And so my husband and I started to process what it would look like for me to stay home, and determined that if I was going to do that, I would need to find something that I could earn money at while I was home with her. And so naturally for me, I was a nanny for many, many years, all through high school, all through college, and the year after college, I was exclusively a nanny for 2 different families. So that was a very natural kind of segue for me into the care.com world, which I had used before. And I sent out a bunch of applications and kind of heard crickets. I had never had that happen before. And I put in all of my requests, or my applications, that I would want to bring my daughter, who was 3 months at the time. And I think maybe that was a turnoff, and I got, but I did apply to some that said, your children would be welcome to come. They were specifically looking for a mom. Those ones I didn't hear anything back from, and I got 2 automated rejections, and I was sitting at my friend Taylor's Arbonne launch party in the end of May, and I had been using the skincare products for a little over a year at that point. My friend Hannah had told me about them, and I loved them. I earned host rewards, and so I got them really inexpensively. And I was listening to this business proposal about how you can build a sustainable business because of consumable products that people are going to love. They're going to use up, and then reorder. And it was this huge, shocking moment to me because I had been what's called a Noonday ambassador. And I technically still am. I still have my ID. It's a fair trade jewelry. We have jewelry, bags, accessory business. It's like sustainable fashion. We partner with people all over the globe that make handmade products, and then as an ambassador, I would sell them in people's homes, really similar to if you have an event with Arbonne. And I love the cause. That was what my main reason for jumping in with Noonday was, and that's why I've continued in that. But Arbonne has definitely taken the forefront in my life because I can actually make an income in it. Whereas in Noonday, I was pretty much coming out even. Like, I was investing in some samples that people would be able to see at parties, try them on. And then I sold enough that I was breaking out even, and I felt like I was making at least like a small difference in people's lives all over the world. And as I learned more about Arbonne through that launch party, I was sitting there, some girls got up to try the skincare. I obviously said I already owned it, and so I was like, I'll just sit here with my friend Alexa, who also already had skincare. And I was like, Alexa, this is weird. Like, I've been really looking for something where I could earn an income while I'm home with Addie. I don't have any sales experience other than Noonday, which I feel like I was mediocre at best. Like, I can tell the story, and I was never, like I said, I broke even in the company. I was never super involved. And I think part of that was I also didn't have a huge community. The person who I signed up under lived in central Wisconsin, and it just wasn't like a super tight relationship. And so I think that's a main reason I just didn't really know what to do. But I was sitting talking to my friend Alexa, and I got another rejection from care.com. And it's this automated thing. It basically just says, like, you weren't the right fit, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, well, now I feel like I definitely need to talk to Hannah about this. So I got home. I was talking to Zach about it, my husband, and I told him, I don't think I can do it right now, but I think I should do it in the future. And he was like, okay, cool. Well, it doesn't hurt to talk to Hannah about it. So I sent her a text. I was confident when I went into my conversation with her that I was going to start in like a year, because I was finishing grad school and I was home with my 3-month-old baby, and I was looking for additional income, but I didn't have time right now to build something because I had my classes, I had Zach, we had a ton of family stuff coming up in the summer. It just seemed like it was going to be way too much, especially once fall hit and I had my internship and classes and then my capstone paper that I would have to write, all of the things while taking care of one girl. And I was trying to hopefully get a job taking care of other kids. It just was so many things. And I went into my conversation confidently thinking, nope, I'm not gonna do it, but I want to hear more about it. And I left the conversation completely opposite. I asked all of my questions, and Hannah, I felt, gave really honest feedback, and I didn't feel like she told me anything that isn't true from what I've experienced now. And so I jumped in, and Hannah was like, okay, let's schedule a launch party. And I was like, so we scheduled the launch party. And if you're on my team and you haven't done a launch party, I would love to do a launch party with you. And I'm sorry that I haven't said that to you directly if I haven't. Because that was what started to catalyze my business. I think you guys have probably already seen, I did that getting started video, and I talked a little bit about this, but I scheduled my launch party for the very next week. So I think I joined on like a Friday, and I had it the following Sunday. So what is that? Like 9 days later, depending on which day you count. But I invited a ton of people, and the morning of, I had 0 people coming other than my friend Hannah, who was sponsoring me. We had just signed up. And my friend Taylor, whose launch party I had been at. So she already had her own business. She was going to purchase her products from her own store, but she was coming to support me. And I had invited a bunch of people. Everybody was saying no. And then the morning of, I texted Taylor and Hannah and said, nobody's coming. And they said, both of them said, reach out one more time, just follow up with people, even if they said that they weren't going to be able to come, maybe things have changed, or if they say that they aren't, or that they were a maybe, or maybe they didn't respond, like, reach out again. So that was way out of my comfort zone. Way, way out of my comfort zone. I felt like I was being naggy. And then 3 people were like, oh, sure, I'll come. And they just either hadn't seen the text or had opened it and forgot. And one girl brought her friend. And so I had this launch party where there were 4 people there getting to hear about the business that I was starting and the products. And from that party, I had 2 girls who hosted a party for me. Eventually, a third of the girls who were there hosted a party for me as well. And that's what really catalyzed my business, was just starting to talk to people and realizing that people aren't as scary as you make them up to be in your head, which gets me to my next point. I'm not going to finish up my story. Obviously, you guys know I've continued in the business. I'm right now an executive district manager, but I'm in qualification for area manager, and it's my goal to finish it this month. And I am super excited for what this team is doing, because I know that there are so many people behind me who are just chopping at the bit to do the exact same thing. And as we work together, we are just going to change so many lives and change our lives in the midst of doing that. And I am so grateful for this opportunity, and I hope that you guys are too. So my next point is this thing that I get into this headspace of, like I talked about in my story, where I was so afraid to text these people a second time, just to do a follow-up. Well, I get in this headspace of creating stories for people of what they are going to say back to me. And so I will create a story of well, I know this and this and this about this person. I know that she uses some Young Living, that's another multi-level marketing company. I'll be I know she uses Young Living oils, so she probably wouldn't be interested in Arbonne. And even though our products are so different and the only overlap is our 6 essential oils, and maybe some skincare stuff, I just don't think that she will like it, and she'll think that I'm weird, and she'll not want to be my friend, and then she'll tell people about it, and they won't want to be my friend, and then I will have just killed off 10 potential people on my prospect list. But that is what I'm telling you guys is so dumb. I was doing that all last week. So if you guys are not a part of the Accelerate to Area group, I would love to talk to you guys more about that and get you in that group, because it is a 10-week intensive series on accelerating your business to area manager. And one of the challenges last week was to do 3 asks every day to take a look at the business. And every day last week, I was nope, they won't want to hear about it. Nope, they won't want to hear about it. And I was having this really intense scarcity mentality about my business. And that is the exact opposite of what I want you guys to take out of this. Because as I changed my perspective and my mindset as the week went on, as I pulled myself out of that scarcity mentality, pulled myself out of those stories that I was telling about these people who I had given 0 chance to, I began to realize, whoa, changing your mindset changes everything. And I say that knowing that this is something that I have had to learn over and over and over again in this business. When I started out to where I am now is so completely different. I have gone through crazy personal growth. I have made connections with people that I had no idea I would ever make connections with. I've met so many people. I have learned so much about myself, but I still get into that same cycle of letting my mind take control of my business rather than me taking control of my business. And so something that, if you guys don't know who Rachel Hollis is, she's a pretty big influencer. A lot of her following is on Instagram, but she has written some books, and one of the things she always says is, don't be dumb. And I, on Friday, finally had some space to work on my business. Hannah, who is my sponsor, you guys know her as our closest vice president in the company, she and I switch babies twice a week. So one day I'll take her daughter so she can have some space to work on her business, and then another day she takes my daughter so that I have some space. And so Friday I was sitting at a coffee shop, and I had all these people on a list that I just had not reached out to because I had stories in my head about what they were going to say. And so I sent all of my asks out that morning. And there were 3 specific ones that I had had in my head since Monday that I was going to ask, and I just had not brought myself to do it. And all 3 of those people who I had convinced myself were a definite no said yes. And I was just like, oh, I am so dumb. Like, I just had created this huge false story in my head, and therefore didn't even give these people a chance to say yes to taking a look at the business. And so what I want you guys to take from this tonight is, don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. Don't let yourself get in your way. Get out of your own way. Just do it. Because even though that's not going to be the story every time, you are going to get no's. I've gotten so many no's. And honestly, lately I've gotten mostly no's. And I think that's why I decided in my head that everybody was just going to say no to me all the time. But in reality, that's not the case. This business has something that can serve people. They just have to be ready and open to receive it. And there are people who are open to it. There are people who are not. Most people take anywhere from 5 to 10 exposures before they actually want to take an extra look or take a deeper look. And so I would say, be consistent. If people say no, just say like, hey, that's awesome that you're not, or let's say they say, hey, I don't think that it's a fit for me right now. We'll say, hey, would you mind if I follow it up in 3 months? And then write that person down and follow up with them in 3 months, because this is a business that can fit you at, like I said, I was at this turning point in my life where 3 months earlier, like right before having my daughter, I never would have really considered something like this. And so you never know where people are at. You never know where they're going to be at. And so just be genuine, be honest. Something that Hannah said to me this week as well, as I was processing with her, like, I just have been in my own way. She was like, Emily, like, don't forget that you're a genuine person. People are going to want to hear what you have to say about these things. They don't think you're trying to trick them unless you're being shady. So don't be shady. But for the most part, people know that you, Carrie, Lila, Callie, et cetera, you guys know that you have people in your life who trust you and who have seen you guys doing your life in every other area. And it's like, they would listen to you if you said, hey, Costco has these really great chips, go get these chips. So why wouldn't they listen to you if you said, Arbonne has this really great nutrition program, you should try it? It's the same thing. And I want to close with talking a little bit about mistakes. Because I think that's another thing we can get really hung up on, especially for me. I think of people that I messaged in the past that I feel like, oh, I maybe like did not approach that the best way. And there are times where I have gotten into this like zone vision where I forget that my main purpose here is to be serving other people and not to make a quick buck. And I know I talked about that last week and the week before. So if you missed it, go back and watch those. But my goal here is to serve people. And yes, I am earning an income and building a business while I'm doing that. But ultimately, I want to help as many people as possible. And my business will be a representation of that. And so I am going to make mistakes. You are going to make mistakes. You are not always going to have the perfect conversation with somebody. You are not always going to have the perfect approach to something, but you're going to learn from it. And that is the difference between people who are successful in the business and people who are not successful in the business, because we know that it takes mistakes, it takes messing up and learning to be successful. And if you take your mistakes and just allow them to internalize you, and then you start to tell yourself stories, and then it gets you in that cyclic system like I was in of, I can't talk to anybody, I have this scarcity mentality, nobody's going to want this, well, then you're not going to be successful. And so I want you guys, this is something that helps me, and it has helped me in the past, and I just needed to kickstart it last week again when I was in my head so much. I've talked to you guys about this before, but I want to talk to you again about affirmations. I'm trying to find some so that I can read them to you. But writing down affirmations I always write down my gratitude, and then I also write down my dreams as if they've already happened. If you need more information on that, you can go to Rachel Hollis's podcast. I'm not sure which number, 72, I think. Just trying to find some affirmations. I have them written down, and then I just read them to myself in the mirror. Okay, maybe I'm not going to find them. I have so many notes from the last few weeks. Anyway, write down things that are true of you. Write down things that are true of this business. We have incredible products. We have an amazing business that can be a huge blessing to people in their lives for that time, money, and freedom that everybody wants in their life. I don't know a single person who's like, I have plenty of time for all the things in my life. Like, I'm good. Pretty much everybody in my life is like, I wish I had more time for this, or I wish I had more time for that. And as we build this business, we are able to leverage our time more. And that is something that we can share with people and offer to them, because you guys are learning how to do this business. You have learned how to do this business. And what you're going to do is teach other people to do this business with you. And that's how you grow. It is honestly a genius business model, cutting out all the middle people so that there's more money on the table for consultants, and then to go back into research and development for our products is amazing. And I just am so excited to be a part of this business. Maybe I'm now going to start to sound like a broken record, but as I have been in this business the last, 8 months, I have felt the momentum shift in the business. When I started, it was definitely like on the rise for sure. But now people are running with this business and changing lives. And I don't want you guys to look left and right. I don't want you to compare your story to other people's. Like I said, my story is really different than any of yours is. But I do want you to see that that's possible. And I want you to believe in this business as much as I do, so that you know where you're going crystal clear, and you run for it, and you're not being dumb, because then you are just standing in your own way and not allowing yourself to shine in this business. So that is what I have for you guys tonight. Next week, like I said, we are going to hear from the lovely Ellie Herdina. She is going to talk to us about some social media strategy, as well as how to close a someone you sponsor. So basically, I know that so many people, myself included, we start these conversations with people who are interested in the business, and then we share it, and then it gets to this weird point where we're like, I'm not really sure what to do with this now, but I think they're still interested. I'm not sure. And then you have to figure out, I guess, revisiting and what I'm calling closing. If you've ever seen Suits, it is a show about lawyers, and they bring in the closer as somebody who basically closes the deal. And so she's going to talk to us about closing the deal with people that we sponsor, getting people on our team, getting them launched, and getting them excited about this business, because it is really exciting, like I talked about. So I hope to see you guys, a bunch of you guys, on the Accelerate to Area call with Holly tonight. If you are not in that group yet and you are wanting to be, like I said at the beginning of this call, let me know. I would love to help you be a part of that group and get you to area manager. It is a pivotal level in this company. You get to will your business to your family. You're making anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 a month, and that is a good income. That at that point, like for me at least, I will within the area manager level, I will replace what I was bringing home when I was working. So I don't know what you guys make or what you're hoping to, but area manager is a great level. And then also you're one step away from regional vice president, where you get your call. And you're helping so many people. So hope you guys enjoyed my story and learned some things from what I had to say. I will see you guys next week, same time, same place, to hear from Ellie. Have a great week. Send me all your questions, all your texts. Set up a FaceTime with me.